Hello everyone, welcome to the Overman channel where I share Little Nightmares theories, art, and more. Yesterday was the day, the end of the art competition I've been hosting for the past few weeks. I've gotten quite a few entries and I'm excited to show them all off here on the channel. I will showcase each piece of art submitted, give some thoughts about them, and near the end I will showcase the top 3 winners. Without further ado, let's get on to the artwork. First off, I want to show a piece done by my friends over at the Monster Corner channel. He opted out of the competition but still wanted to make art, so because he isn't in the running, I will be showing his first. At the end of all this, I want to make a hypothetical, ultimate fan-made monster Otto for my stop-motion series. A lot of the constants I see throughout these submissions will be aspects of the final design. Constants we see here are the electrical helmet and oddly enough the crawling aspect. In the final design, he will have these glowy eyes, electrical components, and he'll crawl around instead of walk. The next piece was submitted by Ezra through email, and we see again the constant of emphasis on the eyes. This was one of the first pieces that showcased red eyes, and while they aren't necessarily glowing, I do want to have parts where Otto's typical glowy eyes flicker red. The next piece was submitted by Unread Gorgon 575, also on email. This piece, we also see the lankiness I want to use in the final design. The long, stretched body, him on the floor, and the kind of unhinged jaw will all be aspects implemented into the final design. This next piece was submitted by Jack Staggs. This interpretation has an eye coming out of his head, which is very interesting to me. Some aspects of art I've seen have Otto with strange protruding body parts, like extra heads or limbs or such. While I personally don't think I will implement those aspects in particular, this eye detail I think could be implemented into the helmet Otto will wear in episode 6. It's a cool detail that parallels the tumor in Noon's brain. This next piece was submitted by @IDT_bookworm on Instagram. This interpretation is very interesting to me. I love the idea that he's made of the candy he was feeding Noon. It's really gross and I like that. We see again the extra body parts and specifically the eye on the forehead again. This next piece was submitted by @Timothy9041 on Instagram. Simple but sweet, we see an aspect that will be used as Otto transforms throughout the episodes. The bulging eyes. When his eyes aren't glowing under his glasses, I think I'll have them bulge out against the glass. This next piece was submitted by @SugarMeatCube on Instagram. I like the pudginess of him, countering a lot of the bodies that are really lanky. Some aspects we see again are the hanging jaw and the bulging eyes. This next piece was submitted by Jimmy Oswald, whom I won't give his on Instagram because he's a private account. He had 2 iterations, one normal and one decaying almost. He described it as Otto losing his humanity and falling apart. We see the constant of him crawling around and the bulging eyes, but unique to this idea, his body can stretch like the teacher's neck. Very unique and very cool submission. This next piece was submitted from the account @HannahHeaton_Photography. This piece is very surreal. We see the extra limbs a lot here, and also the constant of the helmet. Good work. This next piece was submitted by @Momehan on Instagram. Simple but sweet, I think this one stands out to me. It almost looks like a cubism style portrait. Very nice work. This next piece was submitted by Howdy on Instagram. The proportions here are very wonky, which I like. We see the bulging eyes again in the extra head. Very nice piece. The next piece was submitted by @LittleNightTheories on Instagram. Another simple but sweet one. I think this design will be good when making different versions of Otto for each episode as he slowly loses himself from Noon's perspective. The last Instagram piece was submitted by my good friend @_Cognac. I like the multiple expressions. One detail I think I'll use is the smile. As Otto slowly turns more monstrous throughout the episodes, his mouth will get more twisted and wide as the jaw slowly unhinges when he gets to his final form. We also see the marks on his head, and in a sketch we see the helmet idea again, so this will definitely be implemented. Now onto the Discord submissions. We have a piece by Raccoon. This one reminds me of the concept art for the flesh walls, and I think it's very interesting. We see again the bulging eyes and long limbs, details to be used in his final designs. I also really like how the clothes fold. Next we have a submission by Kominomino. The way this was drawn reminds me of some styles of claymation, which I think is really interesting. We see the bulging eyes again, and I think as I make more episodes as they go on, I think I'll have Otto maintain eye contact more and more and more until it turns into this like mindless staring. The last submission before I showcase the winners, we have a submission by Rui. We see again the extra limbs and the hanging jaw and lanky body. Very interesting submission. So far this one's the most fashionable. Now onto the winners of the competition. Third place, we have a submission by Spooky Man. We see a lot of the constants here. The massive mouth, lanky body, and electrical components on the body. The face feels very Little Nightmares-y. The eyes remind me of Roger's in that one portrait of his. I like the pulled back hair, I like the different angles, and I love the pencil shading. Good work, Spooky Man. Second place was submitted by Silly Slap Jr. We see a lot of constants here again. The bulging, red, staring eyes, the unhinged jaw, and the wires again. Overall, very good work. The colors are what got me. The contrast with the eyes and the rest of the piece, making him look more like a monster hunting in the dark. It's very freaky. Good work, Silly Slap. Now, for the first place winner, we have a submission by @MickeyIllustrator on Instagram. This design is very unique and very creepy. We see the long limbs, the bulging eyes, and especially so the unhinged jaw. The colors and lighting jumped out at me. The shadows and highlights were very well done. The scratchy style adds to the unhinged nature of this design. The atmospheric fog, the purple lighting, all seem very eerie, and it feels like a Little Nightmares creature. One smaller detail, I love the purple lighting, how it kind of reflects the cover art of the Sounds of Nightmares. Overall, very well done. Thank you to everyone who submitted, congrats to the winners, and keep an eye out for new videos and art competitions. I will get to work on a design for Otto, and that will get a video of its own. I have a few video ideas lined up. My next video might be a theory on the monster baby from Little Nightmares 3, and my guess as to what it could be. Then it will be all videos on my fan-made story on this location I call The Cradle. It will span 6 videos, the first 5 discussing the main areas and chapters, and the 6th episode will be something different I don't want to spoil. Subscribe if these ideas seem interesting and you'd want to see more, leave a comment complimenting one of the works you liked, and overall give credit to the artists. A lot of very nice submissions, and I think everyone who submitted should be very proud. I enjoyed seeing everyone's different interpretations. Thank you to all who submitted, see you all in the next video, and goodbye.